Hi, this is Drew Tignanelli. This is our September 2023 update. And here with Michael P. So, Michael, how are you?
Doing great. Kids are back
Finally
in
got
school.
all that vacation stuff out of your system, eh?
All that vacation stuff out of my system.
And where all did you go?
We went to Chincoteague, Virginia, and also stopped in Chrisfield, Maryland.
But you also went to Colorado
Went at
just
the
a
beginning
few
of
weeks.
summer, or the very beginning of summer. We went to Crested Butte, Colorado.
And didn't you go to a park somewhere with the kids? No, like Hershey Park or something?
Oh
No?
yeah, we did Hershey Park.
Oh, okay. So
Hershey Park's a given in our family. You got to go there at least once a year.
you got a chocolate world.
You know, the thing that a lot of people don't know about Hershey is that it is majority owned by the Milton Hershey Trust. And most of the proceeds, when you buy a Hershey bar or you go to Hershey Park, are going to support the Milton Hershey School for orphans and now low-income disadvantaged children. So it feels
Yeah.
good to go to Hershey Park and spend the money and have the kids have fun.
Milton Hershey was an amazing philanthropist. The amount of money that he gave away during his lifetime and then set up for perpetual giving is a remarkable amount. So,
Well, and he was really, groundbreaking in the terms of how he treated his employees.
oh yeah,
The
no
things he
doubt.
built for them. And then a lot of people don't know this. There is Hershey, Pennsylvania. There is also Hershey, Cuba. So there is the now just the relics of a town in Cuba where he tried to create the same thing, a positive town for the workers that would harvest his cacao. So,
Yeah,
but we're
well,
not here to talk about chocolate, are we?
I'm sure that that Cuba really helped to prosper that
Well, it did
city.
for a little while until our buddy Fidel took over.
Well, anyway, we're here. The markets are, they were up all the way through July. August came in and started to take it down. And like a week ago, the market sort of stabilized and is trying to move higher again.
Yep. As we've said before, one of the biggest impactors to the market is, not the president, not Congress. Well, actually, I guess Congress, they're doing all the spending, so we'll have to give them a little credit. But the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve, speaking about destinations, they just had their annual meeting in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah, really, place that they could spread some of the prosperity, with the lesser people of the world, Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Well, so there were some interesting things to come out of the meeting. The first one was people have questioned, hey, that 2% inflation number that you guys have been targeting for however many years now, should that change? Should that be 2.5%? Should that be 3%? Is it possible that 2% is not the right number? And they announced that 2% is the exact right number in their opinion. So they have, strongly said in their words, strongly committed to getting inflation back to 2%. In how they're deciding to do that, they're leaving the door open for additional rate increases. They gave us a little glimpse into their thinking by telling us the three main indicators that they're looking for to signal that they have done enough in terms of tightening the economy. The first one is job openings. And they're actually looking for job openings to go down, less job openings available. And that has been coming true for them. So even though there's still many, many job openings, the number has started to reduce. The second is the PCE index, or the personal consumption expenditures. And that's what all of us are doing. How freely is the American public spending its money? That is still very high. We are all still out there consuming things up. And then lastly, they talked about the growth rate of the gross domestic product, the somewhat measured sum of all economic activity in the country. And that has been still growing at a rate greater than average. So they're looking for that to slow too. So it's a very interesting things. There's a heading I read just a minute ago, Drew, on Yahoo said, job openings fall, stocks go up, which is just,
Right.
it's always funny, these little connections here or there. But
Well, the funny thing is this Federal Reserve especially has been wrong on everything they've ever said. 2 years ago, they kept saying that we're not at all concerned about inflation. We're not at all concerned about inflation. It's transitory. It strictly has to do with the pandemic. And they said that all the way up until the beginning of 2022. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh my gosh, it's not transitory right now. Now we're the great inflation fighters. So now they've become the great inflation fighters. And back in 2018, they said, oh, we have to raise interest rates. This is that we're going to raise interest rates. And all of a sudden, the stock market took this giant downturn in 2018, and Trump is sitting there screaming at him. And like a month later, Powell's like, oh, we don't need to raise interest rates anymore. We need to lower them immediately. And, so, I mean, I don't know why we should take them seriously.
no, because they're still making those decisions. That's why we take them seriously.
Well, you have to take them seriously because, that they're the greatest risk right now. Anyway, I don't want to get into it because I'll just say mean things about them.
Well, yes, let's move on from that. So,
no, wait, we want to say mean things about them, though. No. Okay. We'll be good for once.
All right. So, speaking of inflation, we actually have a client contribution this month to the Pulse, and we're always welcome if there's ideas or things that, could affect a lot of our clients. And one thing that's gone up a lot in price and has become pretty significant, and a number of our clients need them as they age, is hearing aids. And hearing aids are not covered by Medicare, and it can be a very large expense. Did you hear that, Drew?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't get them yet.
Not according to my wife, Mike.
So anyway, one of our clients wrote into us and said they had done extensive research on how best to handle hearing aids, and their recommendation is that you consider Costco. And included with that is that you use the Costco card, which gives you 2% back. And in their calculation, just buying the hearing aids pays for the membership for the year.
Oh, but now keep in mind, Mike, that's only the executive membership card.
Yeah,
that's the one that gives you the 2% back. And if you buy enough stuff, you pay for the card over many-fold. And she said the hearing aids, 2% back will pay for that executive card.
The other thing she also pointed out is that Costco is a major player in that market, and many of the brands have model features that are only available there at Costco. So if you're using a hearing aid to listen to us right now, consider shopping at Costco next time we do that. But
it's a fascinating market, the hearing aid, because the audiologists monopolize that industry. But yet companies like Apple would be more than happy to give you a device that'll help you hear better. But they were unable to call it a hearing aid. And those rules have become a little more lax, that you can go to a group like Apple and get hearing assistance devices. I like to call them a hearing aid, I don't believe. But anyway, it's a fascinating market, but I think her recommendation is a good one.
So moving on with other planning topics, Drew, I understand that just recently you were interviewed by the Wall Street Journal and are quoted in a Wall Street Journal article.
Right. Well, we do lots of PR stuff, but this one was interesting because normally when we get requests from the NAFA group that journalist is looking for, I'll send in a response, and that journalist will get 40, 50 responses like within an hour. And then they just sort through them and try to figure out who they want to talk to. On this one, it was about IRMAA surcharges. That's where the Medicare Part B premium is raised because your income is over a certain limit. So if you're single it's about 97,000. And if you're married, it's like 194,000. Now it's adjusted to inflation. That's why I'm not giving you this exactly. So next year it'll be a little higher. And what they do is they look at your adjusted gross income on your tax return from 2022 to determine what your Medicare Part B premium is going to be for 2024. So they're looking 2 years behind each time they assess your Medicare Part B surcharge or just charge. And again, if your income's over this first level, there's five levels. So, if you go up to the top level, you could be paying as much as $550 a month, whereas the average bearer only pays $165 a month. And so each step is about $80 to $100 a step. And like I say, there's about 5 steps there. And but we were the only company in all of NAFA who responded to that specific article. And yet that's such an easy one to help clients with. Yeah. There are 7 things that you can appeal your Medicare surcharge going up, and work reduction, work stoppage, death, divorce, loss of income producing property, loss of a pension. And there's one more I can't remember right off the top of my head. But you can also appeal to them for unique situations. Like we had a client that sold a house in Colorado. And when they did, they had a large capital gain that reflected on their AGI, and Medicare pounded them for significantly higher Medicare Part B premiums. In most situations, I'd say, hey, there's nothing we can do. In this one, there were unique circumstances that I said, go and appeal it to Social Security. We still don't have the answer on that case. And I'm hoping that we do get a favorable ruling and he gets his money back, because it was totally unfair that they raised his premiums for the unique circumstances as to why they sold and why there was a capital gain and so forth. So anyway, this is an interesting topic. If you have Medicare Part B higher premiums, remember the average should be about 165 to 175. But if you find out in 2024, or if you found out in 2023 that your Medicare Part B premiums were higher than that because you're going into an IRMAA surcharge, as they call it, you should be talking to your advisor saying, am I eligible for one of these exceptions? And then we'll file an SSA 44. Or does this sound like unique circumstances that I could ask for a reduction based on the uniqueness and the circumstantial evidence that could make Social Security sympathetic to your situation? That's what you're looking for in these unique cases.
Yep.
Sympathy.
Well, it's also why it's important that if you had anything unique happen or change during the year, we're getting together in October and looking at your tax plan and making sure that we've done everything proactively that we can do.
Yeah, because here's the unique thing. Okay, this is interesting. If you go above these limits by $1 stinking dollar, Mike, $1, say it's 194,000. Okay, so Mike McCarthy does his tax return and it says 194,000. They say, hey, Mike, don't worry, pay us $175 or $165 a month. Drew, he just happens to report 194,001, and they say, Drew, man, you made $1 more than Mike. You owe us $225 or
$230.80.
How much?
$230.80.
And this, what's that? $70 more. Yeah. And if you're married, that's 2 people, so that's $140 a month more because you made $1 more than the other guy.
$56 more.
It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Seven
And
hundred and $92 for the year.
this isn't the only situation that does these, what they call cliff vesting. Maryland's new $1,750 married tax credit, $150,000, $1 more, and you need to pay them $1,750 more dollars in tax. $1 less, and you get the credit. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
How do you justify this stuff? How do you call that fair in any way, shape, or form? I have no earthly idea whatsoever.
Well, that's a good topic for all of us to remember. Before we go, people always say this: Christmas will be here before you know it.
Yeah, and I think that the financial physical book would be a great Christmas gift for a lot of people. And if clients of ours have a family member or a colleague or a business associate or somebody that they just know, friend of some sort, that they think would be a good fit for our firm, and want to give them the book, The Financial Physical, we'd be more than happy to supply it to them. You just have to keep in mind that the person has to have 500,000 or more to invest. And that's kind of like the range that we're looking for when we say that it would be a good fit. We call it the practical millionaire, right?
Right.
Somebody who wants to focus more on, spending their life enjoying their relationships, as opposed to sitting around worrying about what the stock market's doing and how to minimize their taxes and things. They leave that to us. We take care of those kinds of
Absolutely.
things. So anyway, if you want to get that, if you want to buy some books for, Christmas to give to your children, or if you want us to provide some because you got a colleague, a friend, whoever that you think would be a good fit for our firm, we'd be more than happy to give you that.
Absolutely.
Anyway, are we out of time?
We're out of time.
We're very much out of time. This is Drew Tignanelli saying God bless.